Yo, Adam.
What's up, Peter?
I am so excited about today.
Interesting. I need to be shown something good today.
Oh, I got something for you.
Or I'm out of here.
Oh, I got something for you.
I'm not staying unless this is good.
We're going over one of my favorite albums, and I brought it with me. You know what this is?
What is that? Is that a cassette tape from
No,
the 80s?
it's not a cassette.
Is that like is that an LP?
It is not. Well, it's like a tiny LP inside of it. Yes.
Okay, so you can stream from that.
You cannot stream from it.
Is it a Tamagotchi?
It's not a Tamagotchi. It's Roy Hargrove's Hardgroove on CD, compact disc.
Oh, okay. A CD, like a money market account.
No, sir.
Okay.
It's
well,
music.
Because it's Hardgroove, then I'll stay.
Okay, good.
I'm Adam Manis.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Music Explode.
Explode, brought to you today by Open Studio. Go to openstudiojazz.com for your jazz lesson needs.
Yes.
Peter, real quick, did you know that we're up for 2 major awards?
You know what? I heard about this.
Yeah.
Now, define major. Could you define it in a monetary fashion for me,
I think
please?
we might get like a lamp in the shape of a leg for a
really?
major award. Do you remember that from A Christmas Story?
No, I don't.
Ralphie and the dad gets the lamp in the... Okay. Anyway, more on that later. In fact, there
Okay.
might be a gala involved.
Is that because of the podcast, you mean?
Yeah.
Or just because of our general humanity, contributions to humanity? Because we've got one coming for that, too.
Well, I know that, no, you're up for a Nobel, but no, the podcast...
Nobel. Ding! Nobel.
The podcast is up for a couple of awards, which we'll talk about at the end of the show.
Okay,
Stick
cool.
around for that.
Yeah. Might be associated with the gala, perhaps?
It will definitely
Okay.
be associated. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, today, can we talk about what we're going to do today? And then I want to set the scene. I'm going to take you back. Are you ready to get in a time machine, my friend?
Yes, I am. But first, I have a question for
Yes.
you. Is it a big day?
It is. It's a big day. It's a big day. Well, I thought your question was going to be, what is that I'm holding in my hand? Because I usually have an LP. I don't know if you remember what this is.
I know exactly what that is. By the way, I'm back into CDs. Have I told you this?
No.
I bought for my car
Yeah.
a 50 CD carrier, old school style. Fits right in there in
Did
the
you just
side.
buy a brand new car?
No.
Yeah,
No,
recently.
this is no.
Okay.
But they still come with CD players. But no, I'm starting to get into like buying used CDs. You
Yeah.
know, you can buy great CDs for like $5, $4.
I know. I got this. I have a friend online named Jeff Bezos, and he's gifted me a Prime account, and so I can just like the
Look
next
you.
day a CD will come because of
How-
my personal friendship I have. I'll hook you up if you want.
No,
I'll
I
send you
mean,
a link.
I'm just a little bit more in touch with my community, so I go down to the
I know.
local
No, I
deadlines.
do that too.
Yeah,
Vintage vinyl. Shout out Vintage Vinyl.
But man,
yeah,
I love a CD, by the
I
way.
love a
Can I say
CD
they
too.
sound awesome? And
I
I'm
know.
on a little break from my phone right now. I know there's no more phones here. I just got to get off it.
I'm definitely off that, but I'm actually like I think we love LPs. I mean, if
For sure.
if there was an avatar, if there was like a doll or a pet associated with this podcast, it would be an LP,
True,
right?
true.
That we could bring around on a leash. But are we fetishizing LPs a little too much in our culture now? Perhaps. Yeah.
And also, this is from, what year was this album from?
2003.
2003. There weren't a lot of LPs in 2003.
No, this didn't, in fact, come out on LP until a couple years ago as like it might have come out in 2023 as like a 20-year anniversary. It did not come out on LP. It came out on CD.
That's right.
And it was in that sweet spot, early 2000s. I think you remember that time.
I do.
Where CD, like where there wasn't really, I mean, there was streaming. I guess there was like Napster kind of and stuff.
I mean,
but
there is not really
It
streaming.
was jankety. Yeah. And it was like
It's like
just
iTunes
before.
Store maybe, like just
Maybe,
barely.
Yeah. But I mean, CD was still the thing. And so this is the OG form factor, as we like to say. And this is none other than the RH Factor Hardgroove.
one more thing on CDs before we get off of it.
Okay.
Just so in
Well,
case.
they were my big introduction. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Well, no. In case the kids don't know, when you were a musician, you used to be able to carry these things around with you.
Oh, yes.
And you could sell them at your shows.
Yes.
And you could sell them at actual record stores. Now, a record store was a place where you would go and you would spend $60 on 3 albums.
Yeah.
and hopefully people would buy one of your albums. And then you would get paid like pretty good money.
Right. Fun fact, we did a gig. This must have been like 1992. Tower Records, New Orleans, on South Peters Street in New Orleans in the French Quarter. Big old Tower Records. Brian Blade, Chris Thomas, and myself did a trio gig. I don't know why we were doing. I mean, they used to have gigs in the.
Yeah, they used to have people come play.
Yeah, but part of the deal was like we didn't get paid, but they were like, just go get whatever CDs you want.
Come on,
as much as you can fit into a bag. The general manager there
amazing.
said. And so we went and just like had our things filled up. I was getting like box. I think they rejected that one. There was like a Riverside Monk box set. They're like, no. It was like $400. They can't do that. But I was like, it fits in the bag. But it was the halcyon days, Halstead. Yeah,
you almost got it.
It was a good time.
Yeah. Man, so but 2003, holy hell, what a year for music.
It was a great year, man. But we don't talk about that enough. You know why? Because we're stuck on 1971.
Well,
I think 2003 is about to be our new 1971. Man.
You could spend a lot of time in 2003.
But it is, and I love like having this form factor. This is Roy Hargrove. The RH Factor, in fact, was the name of his newly formed band at the time. Roy Hargrove presents the RH Factor Hardgroove. This was such a cool record. Especially for like young people, I think younger than me and maybe even younger than you at that time, super influential. I would almost say that this might have been for a generation, like for my generation, where like Black Coats from the Underground, maybe, especially because of my connection with Kenny Kirkland and stuff like that, had that kind of a meaning. But it was, look at this, man.
It's so great.
Look at this.
I know, that's another great part about
You can't
CDs.
find a lot of this information as in who's playing on every track on the internet. You have to get the CD.
It's pretty awesome. So
let me be talking about all that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Where were you at in 2003? What were you doing?
Man, dude, I was so stuck hardcore jazz. Well, no, I wasn't. I mean, I was doing like really heavy touring during that time.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was going back in my notes and I realized in 2003, I actually did a gig with Roy Hargrove. The same summer that he premiered this band, after this record came out, he was a special guest with Diane Reeves at Jazz Baltica in Germany. I believe it was in Hamburg, Germany, somewhere up there in northern Germany. I remember we did this wonderful gig with Roy Hargrove. He was special because I was touring with, to answer your question, touring with Diane Reeves heavy that year.
Yeah.
And Roy was a special guest with Diane, Jazz Baltica in Germany. Vince Mendoza did some beautiful arrangements. I did a couple of arrangements too. We had an orchestra. But I still remember, I believe it might even be on YouTube. We'll link to it if it's out there. He played You Go to My Head with Diane. With the whole band. James Genus was on bass.
Nothing better than Roy playing.
Oh my God, behind
like
Diane singing and stuff. So
and
a lot
also,
of great
by the way, you
memories from
said
that year.
Vince Mendoza wrote some beautiful arrangements.
Yeah.
I think Vince Mendoza only writes beautiful
Yeah, I
arrangements.
should have just said Vince did some of his regular arrangements.
Because they're all good.
Yeah, it was good. But, so yeah, that was sort of 2000. But I want to just, where were you in 2003? I'm sorry, 2000. Early 2000s.
I was still living in New York, and I was making a
Same block as Deborah Harry?
The same block as Deborah Harry. Actually, no, at this point, I was living up in Washington Heights.
Nice.
And making a go of it up there, and just had started working with the singer Aaron Bodie, who is based back here in St. Louis, which I would eventually late in the year, move back here. But this was actually kind of right in my wheelhouse, man, because I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember when this album came out, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a big deal too, because it was kind of a hit. Like it was
it was on the Billboard pop chart, like way up high, but I mean,
but still, any jazz record that makes the Billboard charts is a good thing for us.
Yeah.
And I just remember too, like, Voodoo was on everybody's ears, right? Yeah. All those Common albums were on everybody's ears. Yeah. Roy was already, this crossover artist for all of us, who was like, into this, the Electric Lady scene, the Soulquarian
he was like our
scene.
Jazz ambassador to the hip hop world.
For sure. And a young Robert Glasper would be starting to dip his toes into that scene too. Right. But I just remember, like, when this came out, I was like, oh, this makes sense. Like, now they're coming over to our side of things. They're like all these artists who we've heard on D'Angelo's records, on Common's records, on Erykah Badu's records. Yeah. Now they're here on this Verve Jazz album. This is amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe I'll sprinkle this in, some stories as I remember them as we listen to this great record here in a second. But I remember going back to even like when I was playing in Roy Hargrove's band to 94, 95. and then a little bit beyond that, but those were like the heavy years. Like he was already talking about, and by talking about, he didn't talk a lot, talk with his trumpet. And we had a few discussions about doing this kind of project. And like, actually, I realized we were testing some of this material back then, especially a couple gigs we did in Paris at like this discotheque. That's how they say discotheque in French.
Does their voice go up like that?
Discotheque, le discotheque. Sorry. But like we kind of got in there and like people weren't really wanting jazz, and Roy just started calling like Parliament tunes and different things. And like I started to see his conception of like how you could approach groove-oriented music without it being shtick, right? Without like with a kind of authenticity that I think kind
Put
of
the big two on it.
Yeah, not like let's jazz it up, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun for me to kind of go back and reverse engineer and kind of see where this came from.
Can I say something too? Just as a 90s jazz kid, see this little thing right here?
Verve Records.
This little thing that says Verve?
Yep.
In the 90s, that meant it was probably going to be pretty good.
And pretty straight ahead.
And pretty straight ahead. 90s,
remember they had Verve Forecast, which is more a
little bit more like progressive. But Verve in the 90s and the early 2000s was chef's kiss. Really good.
Also in the 50s.
Also in the 50s. No, but they were doing all these great reissues, and they were doing
Shirley Horn and all
and
that.
they were also bringing up new artists.
Christian McBride.
Yeah, there was a ton of good
Nicholas
stuff.
Page. Yeah, I mean, they were I mean, there was Blue Note, of course.
For sure.
But Verve was right up there with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Roy had been on Verve, I believe, since when he was like 19, when he first came up to New York. I think he was at Berkeley briefly, maybe. But anyway, by the time he's here, so this is 2003, so he's like 34. You know, he's well seasoned even beyond your normal kind of early 30s players because he'd been playing so long.
Since a teenager.
Touring so much, had so many different experiences, played with so many different great artists. It was just so damn good, basically, to be honest. For sure. So anyway, just in case, that was great. So just to further place, especially for the youngins or the oldins that might not remember precisely 2003, these were some big records that I was thinking about and found just to sort of place us back during that time period that either have like some jazz or hip hop or some cross-pollination. First, we've got this. Let's get that sound.
Whoa, it's Frank Nitty in the place to be with JD to the LIMLIB.
So that's J-Lib, which is collaboration with Madlib and Jay Dilla from Champion Sound. That's a killer record.
Unbelievable.
And then, of course, Jay Dilla is going to come up as an influence with a lot of this stuff and a connection with a lot of this music. But I mean, a lot of people look back and like, Roy's the one who first fused, hip hop and jazz. He was far from the first. He's seen definitely as an ambassador for sure, but I just wanted to shout out this. This was in 2003 as well. From Russell Gunn, East St. Louis's finest, Ethnomusicology Volume 3.
No separation.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Russell Gunn, underrated.
Yes,
for sure.
He was doing a lot of great things during that time. And then also, this was a huge record in 2003. This was Madlib's Blue Note when they gave him the archives. This is Distant Land by Donald Byrd from Shades of Blue. There's a lot of this kind of sound going on there, though. Got the Blue Note LP.
I'm such a sucker for this stuff.
Oh,
God.
You want to go to the club after this, man? Let's go to the club, man.
My wheelhouse had a wheelhouse.
But also in 2003, we're going to go a little different direction, but talk about influential, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come on, man.
What do I look like? 46-year-old white jazz musician? Come on.
But I mean, like, we forget, this was like, people were like, what? Like, this was influential.
Super.
Yeah.
Super.
And also, 2002.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah.
He said, hell yeah.
Samuel, yeah.
Yeah. Samuel, hell yeah. This is Joshua Redman, Elastic Band from the first record,
Kill
Jazz
him.
Crimes.
This was a criminal offense in some states.
Yeah. Brian played.
Before we get too far, though, I just want to give Russell Gunn some flowers because I feel like we've never really talked about him.
I just played him. That's what I'm saying.
I'm so glad you did. If you don't know Russell Gunn's music, go listen to Russell Gunn's music.
Yep.
He's still making great music, and I think he's probably one of the best musicians of his generation. Even if you haven't checked out much of his stuff, it is worth your time to go
Absolutely.
deep
And,
dive.
Yeah, and came out of the Lincoln High School jazz program. At this exact same time, I was in the U City High School program, and we were always very envious because like we had the two best bands in town, but we always kind of got our asses kicked by them because they were so good during that time. They had so many great players.
For sure.
Led by Russell, in fact. I mean, of course.
And another one
Ron
actually we're going to
Carter.
hear on Hardgroove.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, and I just want to play one more thing before we jump into Hardgroove that was happening. And this is Roy in 2002. So this is just for you to understand. Like, this was not, like, Roy had his feet in a lot of different places. This was a record that came out that was very influential, 2002.
Wait, what is this?
Live in Massey Hall, Directions in Music. Brian Blade, Roy Hargrove, Herbie Hancock, Mike Brecker, John Patitucci.
Wow.
Man, Roy was at the top of his form when he stayed.
Well, I mean, everybody in this band.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where Roy, that was the record, you know, that came out right before this record. So that's where he's coming from.
We used to be a real country. Listen to that. Good gravy.
That's a great record. We should maybe cover that one sometime. Directions in Music.
That would be awesome.
It's interesting because I knew the record. I saw that band play live a couple times when the record came out. They did a fantastic tour. They played here, Powell Hall. I didn't hear that because I wasn't here then, but it's like that was a great band. I mean, Mike Brecker and Roy Hargrove, it's like one of those like front lines where you're like, well, that'll probably work. And if it does, it's going to be incredible. It was incredible.
Well, and then the rhythm section too,
Yeah,
which is everybody's first chair. Essentially.
I mean,
Wow.
the pianist,
Well.
I mean, Herbie was available. So yeah, anyway. All right, so I'll just give you a little bit of background.
He's kidding, Herbie, by the way. That's a joke.
Roy Hargrove, I think his story it's generally known. He started playing trumpet when he was 9. From a cornet actually that his father used to have. He was apparently just like super dedicated from like a young age, and just like he had the musical aptitude, but he also just had like this drive and this sort of will to practice that was legendary. He used to practice in a closet because his mom would be like, "It's getting too loud. Why don't you stop for a minute?" And then he'd go in the closet and just practice for hours more. He was one of those kind of, and you know, knew piano, knew a bunch of instruments, kind of a savant in terms of not only his abilities, but his work ethic, you know. And I very much saw that when I was around him. I mean, you need both. Yeah.
You need both. You need extreme talent, and then you need the right personality who can cultivate the most out of that talent.
Right.
It's always those guys.
And then he went to Dallas Arts Magnet, which was a legendary school similar to Lincoln High School here that produced a number of great musicians, some of which we're going to hear, like Erykah Badu on this record, Norah Jones, I believe. No, that was Houston. That's another legendary school. Or was that Dallas?
I think it was Dallas.
too.
Yeah.
Number of great musicians from that school. And
can you imagine that? I mean, just those 3 names from the same place. Yeah,
I know.
It's incredible.
I know. And interestingly, like, so right around this time when he was there, it's looking here, he met Wynton Marsalis when he was in high school. What Wynton used to do during this time. So like Roy and I think Roy was 1 year ahead of me in school, and somehow 10 years ahead of me in terms of like musical aptitude. I did figure that out later too. But the same time, and I went to a really good university, shout out University City High School, great band program.
Go Lions.
Yeah, go Lions. We were the Indians at the time, but that was rectified. Yeah. But Wynton would travel around, was touring heavy. Classical, he came here and played St. Louis Symphony. In fact, that's when I first met him through my dad who was playing with him. But, you know, people don't understand, like in the 80s, there was no internet, okay?
There wasn't.
Little Adam, you probably never had a life without an internet, did you?
Of course I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Or a fax machine? You have a fax machine when you were a kid?
We lived in High Ridge, man. We were lucky if we got a telephone, honestly.
But like in the 80s, Wynton was like the internet for jazz. He really was. Like, he was this connector because he was traveling around. And not only would he do gigs, and Wynton was young then. He was in his like mid-20s or whatever.
Yeah.
And but he would go around, like he would call around or have his manager say, "What high schools want me to come? I want to do a clinic for free." And so like he came to our school, he went to Lincoln High School, and he went to Dallas Arts Magnet. And that's when he first met Roy when he was in high school. And of course was like, okay, this dude can play.
Yeah.
But like Wynton was going around and identifying players and then connecting us. So the way I met Roy Hargrove was Wynton had given me his number and I met. If you ever have any questions about anything, so that was like dialing up on the internet to like, how can I meet other jazz musicians?
So he literally gave you Roy Hargrove's number.
No, he gave me his number.
Wynton's number. Okay.
And then I was talking to him one time and he said, hey man, you need to look out. He would tell me different people. He's like, there's this guy, Christian McBride. You're going to be hearing about him. Chris McBride.
You were like, ever heard of him?
Yeah, I was like, no, I've never heard of him. He's like, but he was a couple years younger. He's like, he's 14 years old. I just heard him in Philly. He's killing. I was like, wow. I'm like, I used to write these names down because I was like, and I remember he said, and Roy Hargrove, do you know about Roy? I was like, no. And I remember writing that name down and he's like, he's in Dallas and he's like, he's killing trumpet player. And so that's all I knew was like Roy Hargrove. Our high school band when I was a sophomore, I think Roy was a junior. We went to the NAJE convention in Dallas.
Shout out Jazz Education.
Yeah. Formerly, well, now it's called then it was the IAJ and now it's the GEN conference.
The GEN conference.
And they'd invite different high school bands. Basically, if you paid the application fee. Sure. But we took a bus overnight, like one of those academy buses.
Yeah.
And got there and it was like at the convention center by the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. We weren't even in Dallas.
Welcome to the ballroom, buddy.
Yeah. We were
jazz in a ballroom.
Yeah, we're like 4 people per room at like the Marriott Airport Marriott. And so I remember I had Roy Hargrove's and I was like, I got to find this guy, Roy Hargrove. And I kind of asked around and I looked on the schedule and I saw this thing, Dallas Arts Magnet high school band was going to be playing at this time. I was like, man, he's probably going to be there. And so I went over and I saw the band. I heard this one guy that was just like killing. Yeah. He was playing lead, but he was also coming out and
doing all the solos.
But he looked like this little kid. Like he was actually, a year ahead of me, but he looked really young then. And I was like, damn, he was small too, or average size, as I like to say. Wait, hold on, let me raise my chair here. Hold on. I like doing these shows at 10 o'clock at night. This is fun, man. So I went over to him after the thing. I was like, are you Roy Hargrove? And he's like, yeah. And I said, hey, I'm Peter Martin. Like, this was kind of actually, it wasn't really bold for me at the time because that's the only way you could read.
Sure.
And he was like, oh, Peter Martin. He's like, Wynton Marsalis told me about you. I was like, wait, Wynton Marsalis told me about you.
Crazy.
And so like that was the connector, and that's when I met him. We kind of kept in touch and then he kind of went on to big things. And then, once we were up in New York at the same time, asked me to join his band and stuff. But like Wynton was a really important, and then when the internet came, we didn't need Wynton anymore, basically.
I mean, I was going to say like
Instagram solved that.
Yeah, if this is today, you both would have like massive Instagram followings as teenagers and be like,
Roy definitely would have.
Making some like shorts, prodigious shorts or whatever and following each other,
Yeah. But yeah, so Wynton was playing at the Caravan of Dreams. This says Performing Arts Center. It was not. It was a club there. It was a club there, and in Fort Worth. And he invited Roy after he heard him that day at his school, and he came and sat in with him when he was 17. And then it was kind of off to the races. Marsalis played at the venue a few times in high school, and then he also played with Dizzy and Herb. Yeah, Dizzy was still around. So like Wynton wasn't the only one that took note of Roy. He was a little bit of a minor superstar by the time he left and went up to Berkeley, and as we mentioned, he went to high school with Erykah Badu, who was a couple years behind her, so she said a really nice quote here I always wanted to read. She said, Roy was the first person I met in high school. He in the musical department in jazz band, me in dance right next door. We danced to that band's version of John Coltrane, Miles Davis. That helped me understand what jazz was and how to interpret it. It was a subtle rebellion. So
yeah, I mean, I love everything Erykah Badu says, man. She's enchanting.
She really is.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a vibe. And I have the feeling she was a vibe back then.
Every time I see her, I feel like I've just been to church or something,
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so then Roy goes on, makes all these great records for Verve, mostly really kind of the straight ahead vein, although we're gonna have a little Easter egg at the end. He had some groove and kind of hip hop forays much earlier than this. But I think to most people, it was really the year 2000 that people outside of like the hardcore jazz world, outside of like musicians, jazz or classical or hip hop probably, or R&B would have known about him. But like to the general population, Roy probably, I mean, as much as playing a bunch of hip horn lines in the background you can get on people's radar, but these were some big records he was part of.
Huge records, yeah.
3 records in particular. I've got 2, just some little excerpts from 2 of them, because we're going to get to the actual record, don't worry. But the biggest of which was, of course, and we've covered it here before, D'Angelo's Voodoo, which came out in 2000. Roy's all over this record. This is a little bit from Playa, Playa. So those lines that Roy did, layering them piece by piece, writing them, we
Dude.
could listen to that stuff all day. We're going to. Became legendary, and like he was known for being like he'd hear the track and be like, okay, I know what I'm going to add. Let me do it one pass at a time, and he would just knock them out like a choir. He was doing it like he was layering vocals or something, and with the rhythms, he's arranging it on the spot. So he had. Obviously, the jazz chops, we heard him play with Herbie. I played with him before, and I'd heard it every night and was like, wow. But he had this an uncanny ability but like changing really who he was or his musicality of being able to jump into this world with these different vibes and just put the placement with a trumpet, in a way that's just uncanny.
Roy, and at this time, speaking of like the choir effect, he and Nicholas Payton on Joshua Redman's, you played that Elastic Band album. Like Nicholas Payton does that on a couple tracks. I think on the second Elastic Band.
Yeah, right. The second record. Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just both of them so good at that.
Yeah, they were like, brothers in trumpet arranging artistry, cross genre. They always have been, kind of separately, but in their own sort of similar ways. It's super interesting. The other thing, this was from Common's like Water for Chocolate, 2000 as well, part of the whole so-called Soulquarian situation. But this is just a little bit of Roy. Cold-blooded. That's Roy, trumpet line.
I mean, Peter, if you think that this doesn't have anything to do If you think that this doesn't have anything to do with 1971, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, because we love it.
No, but it's all over this music. I know we're probably going to hear a little bit of Funkadelic later.
Yeah.
But like you can hear it, everything you've played so far. It has that early 70s, mid 70s, James Brown, Funkadelic, Parliament, Sly and the Family Stone.
Yep.
All of it is in there.
Marvin. Yeah, I mean, it's there. Yeah, it's all there. I mean, that's the influences that these artists were listening to. And Roy's thing, like with his ability to know the placement, the arrangement, the writing, so great.
So basically, we're back to 1971. So it's one.
Yeah. So let's listen to a little. I was going to play. We're going to get into the back to talking about Wynton and sort of coming out of the hardcore jazz stuff. We got to listen to some of this record. We're going to start with the first track called Hardgroove. Much as Voodoo, it kind of just very colloquially slides in.
Cornell Dupree on the guitar.
Yeah, the legend.
Both guitarists on this album might steal it a little bit.
Woo. So it's Reggie Washington and Pino Palladino on bass. I think that first little thing was Reggie. I don't know how it's broken up, but Jason Thomas on drums, killing it.
Cross stick in full effect here.
Yeah. Easing their way into this record. Chris David flows there. The whole tone action. Who's playing? All right, open up the CD. That's Keith Anderson on alto, Jack Schwartz Sparks on tenor, Bobby Sparks on clav. Yeah, so The thing that I think is super interesting about this track. Don't stop it.
I mean, no.
Okay.
Do what you need to do. But man, that feels great.
It doesn't feel great.
Oh,
like this is a very patient opening to this record.
It invites you to live in there for a while.
It does. And this is a long record. We're going to probably talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it is long.
And so that's why it kind of starts to make sense why it's such a patient, measured beginning. Because like this is not the most bangingest. I mean, it's banging. But it's not the most like bangingest of the first track. We're probably going to get to that.
You know what is in here a little bit? I don't know if this is intentional, but there's a little Bitches Brew in this too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a little
especially
like
on this, and there's a couple tracks where it's
like Bitches Brew, which we got to do Bitches Brew at some point. But albums like that,
we're gonna
and
call
like
Biatch's
this,
Brew, just to
Biatch's Brew. Albums like
Rick
Bitches
Brew.
Albums like Bitches Brew and albums like Hardgroove just invite you to like, oh, you want me to tell you a story real quick, like a real tight story? It's not going to happen.
No.
You need to settle in. You might smoke a little something and just like sit down on the couch.
Right.
And just get ready to just get your mind blown a little bit. But
you mean light up a little incense for the
whatever.
vibe. Right.
We're gonna take our time is what we're saying. Like we're just going to vibe for a second here.
Yeah.
And it's once you lock into that, man, there's nothing better. There's nothing better because it slows your whole body down, and you're not waiting for like the next killing woo moment. You know, you're just like in the zone. You're in the pocket with the band.
Absolutely,
it's incredible.
Absolutely. So we're gonna listen now to the second track. We're not gonna get to every track. I apologize. There's like 74 tracks on here, and apparently he left off like 17 that he couldn't fit on. It's a long record.
It's already like an hour and 20 minutes.
But he had some amazing guests on here. We played some from Common's 2000 release, like Water for Chocolate earlier. But Common is featured. I think this was kind of like the biggest. Well, I guess the Erykah we're going to get to as well. This was the one that like really got on a lot of people's radar.
All the vocal features on here are so well done. So well done. And I mean, nothing but like knockouts too.
Yeah. And so this is Common on Common Freestyle featuring. This is cool. This is Willie Jones' third actually on drums.
Bring it to bass.
Reggie Washington on bass. Kenny Washington's brother, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. James Poser, keys. Classic Roy right there.
Well, James Poyser
that's a
go
Roy
down
line.
as maybe one of the most influential keys players
bad
ever.
Dude. Bad,
Right?
Bad dude.
What can I do? I build a destroy.
Always at the right
Doing what
place
I
at the right
can,
time.
'cause you see, I be a B-boy.
It's funny how that
Taking
keeps
it to the
happening.
future. I execute
Lucky
shit.
guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Stand still like a statue.
No, it's
wondering what's going on.
all
like
talent.
Marvin, I start to carve in my own spot. My man Roy make it hot, but we say cold in the go. The brother common sense never stop with the flow. My flow keeps going on and on and I like to do it cause I D in the corners and I'm not the type to beat like that. But when it comes to the empire, yo, I strike back. Yo, I like fat raps, or might be that type of shit. What can I do? I like to spit on the grave for those who never been a slave. Don't understand about
That
the things
rhythmic
they
overlay
misbehave. When
comment
they
to
see
it.
the brother common sense through the door, ask about the dress, they ask about the flow, they ask about different questions. Question like brother Questlove. This is what I do. I suggest love to many. Penny for your thoughts, brother common sense. Yo, I'm never taking shorts. Ass too. I come through just with my crew, with a little trees and a little bit of brew, but we can chill. And just came to Bill, brother James Poise on the keys.
James
What can I
Poise
do?
on the
MCs,
keys.
They wanna freeze when they see the brother common sense go against them. Yo, we got a system. We can break it down for Roy Hargrove.
Come on.
Stars roll.
You know what it is? You know
Told you,
what,
I
everything
can say
Roy's
from
doing
the
here,
shop.
it actually kind of reminds me a little bit of like all D'Angelo's backing vocals on Chicken Grease. I know Roy's on there too, but like
You seeing a pattern here?
all of those D'Angelo like improvs and also the BVs that he puts in, that he layers throughout out Voodoo,
Right.
And actually all three of his latest records. But
Yeah.
like there's they just add these like this perfect tapestry of melody. And
Yeah.
Roy, we talked about this on Voodoo actually. Like Roy is one of the greatest melodists
Yes.
of all time.
Yeah.
Like he could have been like a Tin Pan Alley songwriter. He's so crafty with his melodies. Like they're not just like it feels good or whatever. Like they're well composed.
Yes.
As he's improvising.
Yeah, and
it's
then,
incredible.
Like, as he moves along, like answering and
Dude.
I'm glad you said Tin Pan Alley because the last track we're gonna listen to, I've got a direct connection to that.
All right.
Since you're talking about what he just did on this, let's just check out a little bit of simple, right? Phrasing. Blues.
Yeah.
And then when you check it out check this out just with the drums. Like you see what
wondering what's going on. Like Marvin, I started carving my own spot. My man Roy make it hot, but we say cold in the go. The brother common sense never stop with the flow. My flow keeps going on and on and on. I like to do it cause I D in the corners and I'm not the type to be
like
that.
Roy's giving all the rhythm there.
Yo, I strike back. Yo, I like fat rap. Or might be that type. What can I do? I like to spit on the grave of those who never been a slave. Don't understand about the things they misbehave when they see the brother common sense through the door. Ask about the dreads, they ask about the flow, they ask about different questions. Question like Brother Questlove, this is what I do, I suggest love to many. Penny for your thoughts, Brother Consense, yo, I'm never taking shorts.
I'm sorry, this era of hip hop too.
I know.
This is like 10-year stretch.
I know. Golden Age?
I mean, the MCs here were like unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is definitely old man talk going on right now, but like, man, Common, so fucking good.
Yeah, awesome.
But they all were like the top level rappers at that time.
Oh man, the way he voices those fourths and thirds, that's all trumpet.
I also love like
so free, so I MC. Some call me calm,
like
some call
Roy,
me rock.
obviously no stranger to Gil Evans and Nelson Riddle,
yes,
and Duke Ellington, some of the great arrangers of all time,
Absolutely.
Orchestrators.
Yes,
those little cluster chords he's putting in there, straight up like Stan Kenton style, like it's incredible, man.
Yeah, man, his it's like that intersection of just like big ears, talent, but taste, and like phrasing. That's not boop 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 boop.
He hears it all. He hears it all. It's really great.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. There's a little foreshadowing for you. Okay, so let's get back into. Okay, before we move on, so that's Common on there. There was a little bit of controversy, like not necessarily directly related to this record, but just in general with Roy and some other jazz artists. We talked about Russell Gunn and stuff, especially with some of these trumpet players, because like it's hard to underestimate or to fully understand now in this time, like where we have this tapestry of like so many different ways to play and there's all this commingling with jazz and this is great. Like at this time, like what an influence that Wynton Marsalis and others, but really spearheaded by Wynton for the so-called sort of traditional Young Lions, neo-con, whatever you want to call it, all acoustic, straight ahead jazz movement.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe young people appreciate that it was a lot different in this era, and especially like right before this.
Right.
Like again, back to Russell Gunn. I remember the first time I heard him play was here at the Sheldon Concert Hall, and he came out in like I think a basketball jersey.
Right.
And even that, I was like, I've never seen a jazz musician.
Not a suit and tie? What?
Yeah, like it was just so, it just felt so fresh and young.
Yeah.
And but it was so unexpected too. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it just didn't happen very much.
Well,
like
I
that.
remember even like in the mid '90s when I was playing with Roy, and even before that, like he was I won't say he was the first, but it was the first time I noticed like we would all wear suits and stuff.
Yeah.
Then we started kind of rebelling a little, but Roy would wear a suit and some Jordans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was kind of like, first of all, he had great style. Great style. So like that was part of his thing. Like he knew how to put stuff together, but it was also like kind of like saying, no, I can do both.
Yeah.
Watch me, you know? And he always did that. And it wasn't like shtick. It was organic and authentic. But Wynton was like, this is no shade on Wynton. It was just like, this was the system. Like I say, a bunch of us I wouldn't have met Chris, maybe I would have anyway, but I'm like, I met these great musicians that I would go on and play with and learn so much from because of Wynton. And then countless others, like Wynton created a scene.
I think Wynton is a really interesting character in the history of this music, man.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be talked about a long time for all of this stuff. I mean, not just the music, which obviously we're going to talk about, but
well, let me play you a little something and get your reaction to that since that's what you just said. This is Wynton talking around this time, maybe a couple years before on the Charlie Rose show.
Yeah. Are you still on your campaign against hip hop and?
I don't so much a campaign
speaking
against.
Out less against it now.
Not so much a campaign against hip hop. I'm on a campaign in favor of the best in American culture.
And hip hop is not in your agenda.
There's no question about that. Hip hop, or a lot of directions we have gone in popular music. The musicians themselves have said it in their various books. It's something that we all recognize, but I try to liberate people from the notion that it has something to do with how old you are. I've been saying these things since I was in high school. And I spent a long time teaching American kids education is the best deterrent to being bull.
Yeah.
And many times it's just what was being sold to our kids. We need to do a better job. And it doesn't make difference what names you put on it. Certain messages, certain ways of approaching younger people's sexuality is not going to yield a positive result. Then we end up with all of our kids in high school. We start giving them drugs, Zoloft, and everything else, rattling the. This is not the direction we want to go.
Okay, this is
in.
another time. So I know
Was that PBS or?
Yeah, I think so. Wow. So, I mean, to put it in context, we have to. And it's not to say he's not right about some of this or wrong.
It wasn't Newsmax.
It was. I know.
Okay.
It was a different time. But I mean, that was kind of the climate in terms of like Wynton. I mean, I wouldn't say he was ever like oppressive in terms of like, you know, he didn't, I mean, he had a lot of power and he was always super generous. Like in terms of as an educator.
Still is.
Still is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is just one data point. This is not, but I mean, he always has been, I would say, to put it kindly, maybe skeptical of hip hop most. And like a lot of the really so-called conscious hip-hop artists that were interested in collaborating and did with jazz musicians were always a little bit off-put by Wynton. I mean, there's a great interview with Mos Def talking about how, like, you know, once we got Roy, I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, it was basically like, once Roy came into our world, like, that was what we always wanted, because we want to be connected. He's like, Wynton Marsalis, we could never, with the suit and the tie, he didn't want to have anything to do with us. We weren't, like, smart enough or worthy. I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing, but you can check out the interview. So, I mean, there was that sentiment there. Now, has Wynton, you know, given the flowers to hip hop at some point? Probably too. But I mean, like, there was this climate of that. And so, you know, and for Roy as a trumpet player coming up under, you talk about Nicholas Payton, you talk about Russell Gunn, all these trumpet players, like, you have to at a certain point, like, assert yourself. And it wasn't the easiest thing to do, I think. But Roy wasn't a kid then.
That energy, though, is probably from the 90s, I'm guessing? Late 90s, mid-90s?
I think late, but it might have been early 2000s.
Early 2000s?
We're not journalists here.
I mean,
Let's say
that's
that.
still like we're 20 years into it, but
Yeah.
it's so different now, too,
Yeah.
than it was. But like we were just talking about.
And
it
Wynton's
was
different now.
Yeah, everybody changes, and the culture changed so much.
So this was Roy's at around the time of this record coming out, I believe, talking about this is.
Yeah, I don't
this
think
is
of
Roy
them
Hargrove.
as anything different. To me, they're one and the same. Because rhythmically speaking, if you take the 8 bars of somebody rhyming, and if it's like on a high level, it's kind of very similar to some of the drum patterns that people like Kenny Clark and Philly Joe Jones and them were playing back in the day. Hip hop is jazz's great granddaughter.
Oh, that laugh. That was always Roy's thing.
Go transcribe some Busta Rhymes. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah. And then this was Wynton on Roy.
I didn't like it. And your jazz musician is
On this
very
record.
difficult. It's not going to evolve out of hip-hop musician. But we had a deep conversation about it. I said, man, you know, you can play. And it's hard to keep faith in playing. And he said, look, man, you know, I like playing for black people, man. People are not coming to this form of music. You know, this is just what this is. And I can't just be isolated like that. And I respect it.
Yeah, so that was Wynton talking about a conversation he had with Roy, specifically about RH Factor and doing these kinds of projects. So I know there was a lot of love between them all the way to the end of Roy's life. I witnessed that firsthand, so I want to point that out. This was no ongoing feud. It was just, you know, difference of opinions in terms of approaches. So
And that's how art should be. And the artist should have these conversations.
Yep.
And I don't know. I like that Wynton kind of sticks to his guns a little bit on this too.
Yeah,
because no one else.
Could you imagine if Wynton come out with like a hip, like I was wrong all these years. I'm going to do a hip hop collaboration. We'd be disappointed in him.
I think it's good for everybody to have to have someone kind of pushing back against, like, well, what are we doing? You know, even if I don't agree with it.
Get to the point in his life when he's 4 years old to make this record without meeting Wynton when he was in high school.
No.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. You know, so there's that too.
That too, but also people want to make music that affects them, that they love,
right?
And so Roy's doing that here.
Yeah, authenticity.
There's
authenticity.
There's nothing like changing that would be a real shame. It would be a real tragedy.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to track 3. This is I'll Stay. This was a big one too because it's featuring D'Angelo. So we're gonna ease our way in on this one too.
This is so killing, and the original is so killing.
I think that's D'Angelo on the Worley too, I believe. Oh, I got the. Yeah, D'Angelo on the Whirly. Pino, of course, on the bass.
I might have to change some stuff.
This is George Clinton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says
Funkadelic.
Clinton. Yeah. Chalmers Alford on, aka Spanky on guitar.
I gotta grab a pencil.
Here you go. I got a pen for you.
I got it. Changing my desert
A
island.
very patient intro again. Hallmark of what's happening on this record. Here. Woo!
Damn.
Swampy, huh? Nice little engineer there. Oh, shout out Russ Elevado, who co-produced and engineered this record, as well as many of those other Soulquarian records.
This might be the best sounding track on the whole album, too.
Something about E minor, too. Roy's playing on.
A lot of open strings on the bass.
Now the melody starts 2 minutes in, by the way. That's layers of D, Angelo.
Who is the modern day equivalent of George Clinton?
Oh, there's some Roy background. I was like, somebody else is not back. That's Roy. Roy's a good singer. Oh.
Is there a modern day equivalent to George Clinton and the P-Funk? Parliament.
George Clinton.
Funkadelic. I know George Clinton's still with us.
I mean, parts of D'Angelo, but. Oh, man.
Yay.
Man, but I'm shouting out Russ Elevado, too, because that sound on Roy, only he got. You could record Roy just straight up, and he's going to sound great, but this is a very distinctive sound.
I'll be honest. Some of this album, I don't love everything, the way it sounds, the production.
Are we at Quibble Bits already?
Almost, but this one is
this is killing it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
And you know what? When you're in these silent sections, I always say that's when the engineer, you tell. I don't know if I can find this. Check this out. What happens when there's silence? Whoa. The Bosie. Don't hurt the Bosie. Yeah. I'll Stay featuring D'Angelo. Do we get everybody else out there? Bernard Wright on the B3. There's some great B3 on there. Jason Thomas, who's just killing it all over this record.
Yeah, Jason Thomas sounds
Pino
so
Palladino,
good.
just,
Pino to Palladino.
being Pino.
I mean, we haven't talked about him yet because it's kind of like, it's Pino.
Right,
He's doing.
But I mean, a big connector on this
He's really got
record
his Pino stuff together.
He's got such a big connector with the Voodoo record
For
to
sure.
this record, like him and Roy.
A huge
of course.
connector. That's a great point, actually, and worth emphasizing. Like the
and
bass,
some others too, but mainly them, I think.
the bass brings the vibe to everything, and you got Pino, you got that Voodoo vibe.
So if we stay in order here, I think we're gonna get to your one of your tracks. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Your Desert Island, maybe?
No. Let's keep going.
Okay. Oh, this is my Desert Island. Sorry.
This is your desert. I mean, let's talk about it now. Let's get to the
Yeah.
categories because we're about there anyway.
Yeah.
This is your desert island, and
I've got 17 more tracks lined up. Just so you know. Sorry.
this is your desert island, and this is my
your
apex moment is
That's
Roy's playing on this. Roy's solo on this.
Oh, that's from the very beginning. It's
yeah.
the whole
no,
track.
it's the whole track basically. But this is a tour de force. This is
incredible.
the best playing on the album.
This is my favorite track. That's why it's my Desert Island. But it's apex moment too. It's not quite in the middle of the record, which is interesting because we always talk about placement. But it's you know what it is? It's in the middle of what would be a normal length record. So it really is. It's the fifth track. like for a 55-minute record, we'd be halfway through now.
Probably is what
we'll talk about
been.
that. So this is Pastor T.
Sure.
And this is one of the great, again, shout out. So this was co-produced by Russ Elevado, who's also the engineer legend, Roy Hargrove, and maybe somebody else. I can't remember.
You got too much text in
Man,
front of you, bro.
you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not journalists, we always say, but we're starting to And Jason O'Lane. Shout out Jason O'Lane, who I've known for many years.
We got to be better, man. We're award nominated for this.
But I think Roy and Russell, I mean, like the way they're working, Jason's great musician, great businessman, the whole thing. But this is like one of the great, it's a subtle thing, but check out, and this is not going to be me messing with the volume. The way this track starts.
It is subtle.
It's a fade in, which is rare, and it's a quick fade in, but it really sets the tone for it, I think.
Yeah, you're like, wait.
It's like you're opening a door and like there's a party in there, you know. Oh, some of the greatest syncopation ever. So I think this is Pino on Reggie Washington on acoustic and maybe Pino on electric. There's a lot of two basses. I love the melodies like 2 bars line, and then they just jam it. In terms of structure, this is very much like influenced by James Brown and groove too, but like where you're just soloing over one chord, and then the soloist take it to the bridge, which he's gonna do, you know.
Come on. It's some of the best voice playing ever recorded.
It's really good. Bridge, take it to the bridge.
Yeah.
It's just some of the most authentic Roy playing. Like, this is Roy. Woo! Yeah, Keith Anderson. Okay, I hate to even do this. I want to switch over because I just want to hear, because we got Reggie Washington and...
Ooh, that's so good.
Isn't that good? You like that?
My God.
You like that? The Apex moment's over. So there you go. Right?
Yeah.
It was just a solo.
It was just
this
Roy.
killing ass solo. I want you to check this out though. So here we can do a little bit of... crispy. But I want to check out the basses. There's an acoustic bass and electric on it. Man, when stuff grooves that hard without... But check this out, just Roy, it's grooving. It's dancing. So much minor pentatonic, doesn't matter. Oh man, it's got that Miles-esque, like I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna skimp in there. I'm gonna hit it. Like it's got, but it's not like he's not super influenced by Miles. And like you hear it in those little moments, but not like he's definitely influenced by Wynton. Like a lot of that '80s Wynton stuff.
I know,
but then he's got that layer of like Lee Morgan. But then he's got all this like Parliament funkadelic kind of rhythmic approach. James Brown groove is all over this track, and
we need James Brown now. We need more James Brown.
That's right. Hot take. Adam
Hot
Menace.
take.
We need James Brown. Dynamite! That's somebody else. Okay. Now we're going to...
Where'd he go? We need James Brown here.
He was frozen until recently. He was. No, he's not here. We don't know where he is.
Shoot.
Okay. We're going to move on now. Poetry, track number 6, featuring Q-Tip and Erykah Badu. This was a banger.
This might be my favorite feature. I think Q-Tip crushes it.
This is Erykah Badu.
I'm on one of his albums called Hardgroove. RH Factor.
And what song are you on RH Factor?
Poetry. That song, Poetry, was monumental to our relationship, too. In fact, I was very intimidated because I can't read music. I don't even know if I hit the right notes when I sing. I just know how I feel, and I express the way I feel. Yeah, it's intimidating to play with such a gifted musician, even though we were great friends. And I remember him calling me into the studio. He said, just freestyle it, just whatever you feel, just be an instrument. I was petrified.
So that's Erykah Badu talking about. It's a great interview. Part of the shout out to the Roy Hargrove documentary. We'll link to that as well if you want to go on a deep dive.
This is such a cool song.
It's a bittersweet move.
The structure of this song is so cool.
Let's check it out.
Can you picture how a melody gets thought into existence? Rhythm section hits it and upholds it with
Q-tip, that's another connector for us, right?
Connecting all of it. Yeah, for real.
Splashes by all the brothers. Michelle is on the joint. You mean Miss Cello? No wonder why
Michelle Cello's on bass.
A medal or award should be given to these heroes for their efforts of revealing and bringing forth the feeling. I'm reeling, poetic I say, a great proportion. I hope my little nuance is correct for this distortion, but I say why say, and who is to say? Cause Roy makes the tune what it is today. Rhythmically, we in this lake of jeans, know what I mean?
Gene Lake on
right
drums.
Me and Mr. Right, we hail from Queens. The overtone of funk is being driven by the students. The benevolence of Roy issue me this jurisprudence. To speak,
Jurisprudence.
a rhyme, put it in a hip of termin. I'm just a humble little germ, just a hip version. Poetic, I mean truly indeed, how every seed gets sprinkles with the essence of life to form our breed. Think about it, sweetie, while we give this to the needy. The musical expression is important for progression.
Is that Mark Carey on the Whirly?
Mark Carey's on Whirly with the single line stuff, and Roy's playing keys behind it.
Before we get the bounce, we got to reach for the ball. Before we ghetto show, we had to get to a crawl. Check it out now, and don't you dare. Bobby Timmons did a joint called That Dear.
I love that line.
Check it out now, and do you do. Ronnie Foster did a joint called Mr. Groove.
Hey.
Check it out now, this how it go. Check it out with my man Roy Hargrove. To the
Hey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Apple Tree Cafe.
Great.
Roy Hargrove on stage. Oh, this is very cute cafe. Coming in from Dallas, Texas. All the way from South Dallas. She will be.
Another patient track.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Long time to the chorus.
Like a little Steely Dan moment there. For a
Yeah,
second,
it was.
You know?
Interlude.
Gene Lake here.
Gene Lake
like,
killing it, man.
Insanely.
If you know, you know.
Influential.
Yeah.
Michelle Indegliacello on the
On
bass.
bass, yeah. Playing super simple, like, which she can do a lot, like just the perfect, you know. Oh, that's sustained.
This is some heavy hitters on this one.
Yeah.
Where's that pencil?
Yeah, this is a deep track. I hate to even like fade it out like this.
Shoot.
This really is like kind of the meat of the record.
Man.
You know,
it's so hard to pick a Desert Island track on this album.
I know.
It's already. I'm changing it twice. I might change it to this.
I already committed on mine. So.
I'm committed. Okay, I'm committed.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on. We're doing good here. We're not gonna get to every track because we don't have 7 days. But the whole record is just the progression of this record's great. We're breaking up a little bit, but we're going in order at least.
Yeah.
So this is a really cool tune. This is "Forget Regret" featuring Stephanie McKay. This is track number 8.
This is by the saxophone player, right?
Yeah.
Jacques Schwartzbart.
Yeah. Oh, Roy just
I love the production on this one with
the front trumpets in the back chamber.
It's like a room mic trumpet.
Yeah.
That could even just be the reverb channel.
On the
trumpet.
Harmon one. Yeah.
Your sugar, your feel, your touch.
The trailing
Such
guitar.
a good song.
Yeah.
Your voice.
That's Jacques on guitar as well.
Your prayer, your hair, your step.
What does this remind me of?
Your spin, your care.
Put in the comments. What is this song?
I know. I was thinking that earlier. I was like,
it's something.
I don't want to be free if it means that I'll be without you, baby.
This could have been on Love Jones soundtrack. That was early.
I just want you to see how much you mean to me. I really
So good, man.
You like it?
Or I like it.
Oh.
I do love this song. All right, I don't need the pencil.
That's a nice little Steely-esque interlude too. Second verse.
Your feel, your touch, your hair, your voice, your whisper, your moan, your prayer, your hair, your step, your spin, your care, your shadow, your heat.
Okay, we gotta move on. Sorry. We're gonna get past fair use in a couple seconds here.
It's like some 70s rock anthem.
Yeah.
I think is what I'm thinking.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong about that. But put in the comments. What is Forget Regret?
Yeah.
Where am I hearing that from?
So now we're gonna jump to number 10. I love this track. This almost made it on. This is kind of a sleeper one. There's something about this though. It's so like Roy. It's probably the most like understated kind of. I have no idea what the meaning behind this is. Called Liquid Streets, but I just think it's just like a little vibe segue tune, right?
It's like how they wet down the streets in those Ridley Scott films.
Liquid Streets.
Liquid.
It's just that same repeated simple form, but then it goes to one other place. And you talk about Roy as the melodist.
I mean,
this is classic.
Maybe
Simple.
the greatest ever. You know what it is, man? You can tell he loves melodies so much. Like you could feel the love.
He loved melodies.
So say,
when he's playing it very simply, you feel that even.
He doesn't put any bullshit on melodies ever.
Right.
Just straight from the heart.
Yeah. So that's so fun when, like, and if you want to go deep dive, and it's really cool where it's placed on the record too. Once you get here, you're like, this is the vibe.
Finally,
can we go to the final track here?
It's not the final track of the album. Well, it is the final track of the album, but it's also the final
14
track.
tracks.
Yeah, this is a good one. And this is, we talked about like the Tin Pan Alley thing. This is a great representation.
Yeah, so this is Roy. Like, this is the closest I think on this record to like the way that he wrote some beautiful, like very, like from a harmonic and really structure standpoint, very much like AABA, Tin Pan Alley, George Gershwin kind of, but Duke Ellington, like just very beautiful standards with beautiful melodies. But on this one, like you really hear that harmony come across. And this can become really just like schlocky. Is that a word?
But he's so genuine.
It's so
and
genuine.
like you said
but placing
before,
this in a hip hop or like a groove situation can be very like. Ugh.
But we heard him say in that interview, he doesn't think there's a difference between, like for him, there's no difference. This is just music that he loves, that he hears. And you could tell, like it's very, very authentic. He's not trying to put in any airs that aren't real.
Right. So this is like not putting on any. It's like the opposite of what's that show that I can't stand. Okay, now I'm gonna get flamed for people saying it. The Bennigans, the Beginnigans, the British one where they're all dressed up with the Queen and everyone goes crazy over on Netflix. Who are you looking at?
Bridgerton?
Bridgerton.
The Beginnigans? Peter.
Bridgerton. That's putting on airs.
I feel like that's maybe Kelly Martin's favorite show, and it's a little triggering for you.
It's very triggering. But I'm saying that whole show is about putting on airs. Right?
For sure.
This is the opposite of this.
I've never seen it, but
this is the stroke, the anti-Beginnigans. Okay? Bridgerton.
Beginnigans. Sounds like something my kids would have listened to. Band. Oh, there were the beginnings.
I used to go to eat at Bennigan. It was like a high-end Applebee's.
I love this. I'm such a sucker for this sound, too.
Little 3 vibe. Implied 3. Right there. It's like Benny Golson writing.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Great call.
But I got the bluesy sass on it.
Got a little
gospel, little Sunday morning.
Little East St. Louis's own.
Oh, that's right. Shout out Tony Suggs on the organ on this.
Yeah,
man. I was so delighted when I saw that thank you liner notes. This is his only appearance on this record.
Suggs.
St. Louis's own, East St. Louis' own Tony Suggs by way of Tokyo, Japan.
By way of Japan.
This bridge. Man, Roy's great at writing bridges. And then standard harmony, but there's always something a little unusual in there. Like there. Yeah, Roy Hargrove, fantastic songwriter. I mean, in the classic songwriting sense.
Gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better.
So that's it. That's the record. Let's get to some categories.
Yeah, Desert Island. What do you got?
So I have Pastor T. We listened to that already. You've got Forget, Regret. We listened to that already.
I did have Forget, Regret. I might change it to I'll Stay. But you know what? I'm going to keep my original instinct, Forget, Regret. I really, really love that melody a lot.
Oh, it's great. I mean, there's so many I could have. I think Pastor T to me is like, that would be the thing if I'm stuck somewhere with just one. It would remind me of everything else, but it would mostly remind me of Roy on this. I mean, just the vibe. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, I listen to that every day. I do listen to that a lot.
What's your apex moment?
Apex moment. So there's a track called The Joint, which is killing on here that we had to come off because we didn't have time. But I just want to go to some of the killing Roy stuff. This is, to me, the apex moment of this record. Like, you could pick a lot of people, but I'm like, this is such a quintessential Roy production and record. I'm like, the apex moment has to be featuring him playing the trumpet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean,
mine was.
D'Angelo,
You do
Erykah
what you
Badu,
want to do, but mine was.
This is this whole thing is a vibe, too. Okay, we got to wait till we get to it at 1 minute. Who's playing those killer-ass keys? Bernard Wright, of course. No, that's Bobby Sparks on the ARP. Pino, of course. Another Patient song. You could see Pino Palladino was just like big tall dude.
Big tall Welshman.
Big tall Welshman. Speaking in English, but it sounds like a different language.
Yes.
Okay, we're almost there.
We said at the beginning, you got to settle in.
Yeah, you got to settle in.
Killing. The sound.
That's Roy.
The sound.
Sound is killing.
The sound.
Russ Elevato, shout out. Oh! Oh, man. But I mean,
this is good. That's a great produced.
But I mean, like, just the way he plays and where it's placed in there. It's the apex moment, but it's like, it's also just, it's the most understated. But to me, it's like the most beautiful part. Like, you even if you didn't know, like, you know Roy if you hear him play that,
100%. My apex moment was Roy on Pastor T, which we've already listened to.
He was just, I mean, he was firing. That's Roy too.
Yeah,
I mean, Roy
totally.
just like firing with all that classic, incredible funk, syncopation.
What
Doesn't get
about
any better?
What do you got for bespoke playlist?
I'm calling this collection of jams bona fide jazz fusion.
Okay.
Like, this to me is jazz fusion. I know jazz fusion is supposed to only be rock and jazz, but fusion means this is hip hop and jazz, right?
Well,
and R&B.
Yeah.
And soul.
Well,
No, can't be. We can't fuse more than 3 things.
You can, but I think fusion is its. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
We'll allow
Okay,
it.
got it.
Yeah. Mine is. This is the age of Soulquarians.
I can see where we're going. It's like we're going towards an accident. I don't want to. I can't get out of the car though.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Quibble Bits, what do you got?
Man, this was a hard one for me because I love this record.
Yeah.
And kind of diving back into it from beginning to end. I've never stopped listening to this record over the years. Like this is kind of rare for me for a record from this period. That's how much I love it. So if I'm forced to say, are there too many guests on here? Because I want more Roy, but they don't get in the way, and I love the way he plays behind him, but maybe a little bit. And there could be a case to say the record's too long, but there's nothing I would take out. It's a long record, though.
I think that's valid, though.
It's 72 minutes.
Do we want a little bit more Roy? Like, maybe.
Yeah.
And also,
but there's great Roy on here. It's some of the greatest Roy. But yeah, are we being greedy?
We are being greedy for sure. But that's, these are quibble bits. These are not meant to be like, this is a complaint. It's literally a quibble of a bit, just a bit of a quibble. For me too, I think it's also like it is an hour and 12 minutes long. I think it's just a little too long. If this were 50 minutes long, 55 minutes long.
What would you cut out then? Give me a list.
Don't give me that.
Which Roy solos would you like?
Maybe if it was.
Well, how about D'Angelo? Just get rid of him, huh? Right?
Maybe if it was 2
Erykah
albums,
Badu?
double album.
Right.
Maybe then.
Yeah.
But also, I do have. Again, we're really quibbling here.
Yep.
But like,
you wrote it.
I wish there was more cross stick and less open snare drum.
Ooh,
I know.
Shots fired. Rim shots fired.
Rim shots fired. It's not my
You're
favorite.
not crazy about the sound of that.
It's not my favorite.
The altoness of it, right?
Yeah, there's not my favorite snare drum sound. It's somewhere in between of what I really wanted to hear. And that's very quibble. Because it's really... Like just listening to it now,
groovy as hell.
I know you do.
I'm gonna put that out there.
And again, this is like a super mega quibble of a bit.
Yeah.
But
he's talking
I would have liked
about
it, like what would this sound like if it was like a deep metal lugwig sound of a snare drum?
And just to be clear, I think you're not talking about the sound, the engineering of the sound of the snare. You're talking about the intonation, the pitching of the snare. Maybe it's a smaller snare, maybe it's tight, it's a higher pitch, it's a tighter snare sound.
Yeah. And it's not that I actually think if I were hearing this band live, I would want that and I would really like that. Yeah. But there is something with the way it's recorded or something with the way it's mixed where it's like, especially he's playing like those kind of cack rim shot stuff should be louder somehow. It doesn't feel as loud as I know it would feel in the room.
Interesting.
And
maybe a little gate on it, maybe a little suppression or
something, or it's just lower in the mix. I don't know. There's something about it that, and again, total knee jerk. But if I really have to quibble a bit, it would be that. But man, I honestly listening to it again here today, which we listened to it all week leading up to this, but even hearing it again today. Most of those tracks, I'm just like, this is so well produced. Right. So it's really not like, it could have been produced any better.
It's not interfering, and it's not like
that's just a real nitpick from me.
Yeah. Snobometer, what do you have?
I have 2.
Why?
It is not snobby.
I think this is a very snobby record.
It made the Billboard pop charts. What are you talking about?
On like a little bit, but I mean that's so is that the new definition for the Snobometer?
I'm just trying to see Erykah Badu.
I'm saying for jazz people.
Common.
Like, to say that you love this if you're a jazz person.
D'Angelo.
That makes you okay.
Q-Tip.
Okay, we're going 5 then. We're going to average it. 5.
Don't go 5. That's nothing.
I had 8. You had 2.
Better than Kind of Blue.
No.
Accoutrements.
I go 9.
I go 10.
I was going to say, this is a close 10 for me. I'm not going to do it just because.
This shit looks amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah. But it wouldn't be. Like if I wasn't able to open it up and stuff, I don't know. I'm comparing it to LPs, but it's
and
great.
Also
it's
like I'm so glad you brought in the CD too because like look at this.
Shout out Jeff Bezos.
Look at these notes. Look at those liner notes, everybody.
So
get in
and
tight
Roy
there,
writes
Andy.
he writes a great little
There's a great
narrative
blurb in there. Yeah, it's incredible.
The thanks. I love the thank yous.
This is all we want.
People. I used to read that when it was thanking people.
We want original art that's incredible, that really gives a vibe to the music, and we want some like detailed notes. Who's playing on what? We want this, folks. Whoever's
we would
making
have known
music.
Tony Suggs was on the B3 on the final track. That's
Imagine
important.
not knowing Tony Suggs was playing B3 on the final track.
What would be up next for you? Like, what do you want to hear after this in a Spotify play? Well, we don't want to hear this. You got your 500 CD changer. What do you want the next CD to be?
There's a boring answer, which is Voodoo. There's a less boring answer, which is Dr. Funkenstein.
Hey, those are good things.
And then
you could sandwich these. You could put this as a compliment sandwich in the middle of those.
We'll go with those.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take it back, and then I've got one more little thing to play as we go out. Well, we got to talk about our gala and
we got a gala. Yeah.
Since we're about to become an actual award, possibly. Please help us out.
You've been saying we were award winning for years, and we actually might be this time. So
right. But I'm gonna say up next is a record called Buckshot LaFunk. Branford Marsalis, a band that he had.
That's a good call.
9 years before this.
Yeah.
Check out a little bit of this because we think about this record, and this was groundbreaking. But I want to give some flowers to Branford Marsalis, friend of the pod, hopefully still friend of Peter. We have a history. Love him. I love you, Branford. Come back home in case you're listening.
You guys been a little standoffish lately?
No, not me. I'm just no. I love Branford. I've got a chance to play, and hey, I love Branford. A little inside joke we have. If you're watching this, Branford, put that in the comments. But this is his wonderful project, Buckshot LaFunk.
He's definitely not watching.
From 1994. I just think it'd be embarrassing when that. Buckshot LaFunk, 1994. Check this out.
This is a good call.
Yeah. Talk about hip hop and jazz. Who's that on trumpet?
I don't know.
It's Roy Hargrove.
Yeah, of course.
24 years old. So maybe
good get, Peter. Good get,
maybe
man.
Get some little ideas.
I forgot about this. This is a good call. Great take.
I remember it because this is when I was playing with Roy when his record came out. Same year.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's still Roy, but he's a little younger Roy, right?
Sounds great, though.
Yeah. So we got to give a shout out to Branford for at least this had to have some influence on Roy in this project.
For sure.
Buckshot LaFunk is a killing record too. And similar, that's what I'm saying. This was an influence. Had some guest vocals, some kind of lesser known at the time that were incredible.
Okay, so Hardgroove.
DJ Premier is kind of like, all over that in terms of like.
So
production.
not groundbreaking at all. This one, then is what you're saying.
Well, no, it's like everything when they say when they're like the iPhone came out, everyone's like, "This is incredible," and like Microsoft and what was the company in Canada, RIM? They had the BlackBerry thing, beginnings. They had the BlackBerry for years. They're like, "What do you mean? We got a smartphone?" But everyone's like, the iPhone was the first smartphone.
I put myself through music school in Bennigan's. Okay, we do have a gala. So if you don't know what a gala is, Peter, hip the folks to what a gala is.
We worked at a gala. Well, you worked from afar a real gala.
I did an arrangement for a gala, but you played
from the
piano.
West Coast.
Yeah. What's the you'll hear it gala? Though?
This is the gentleman and ladies agreement, and this is whereby
GALA.
Yeah, whereby if you've made it to this point of the podcast, even if you haven't made it this point, you actually are part of the agreement. It's one of those agreements, like when you pull into a parking lot and there's a bunch of small print, like a paid lot. You never sign anything, but it's like you hereby agree to this by entering.
Yeah,
that's what this is. So you are agreeing. In this case,
so if someone steals the CDs out of my car, you'll hear it's not going to
it's not going to cover it.
Okay, shoot.
You're normally we say the gala is gentlemen and ladies agreement. You agree to give us a rating or review or a comment on YouTube in exchange for us providing you this beautiful, blusterous podcast.
Not a word. But today it's a little bit different because today, Peter, we are nominated for 2, not 1, but 2 Signal Awards, which is kind of a big deal. This is like a big deal in the podcast space. So I
got to get that app Signal. Is that how we vote on? Signalgate.
We are finalists in the best music podcast category and the most innovative video podcast category.
Hells yeah.
And as finalists, we're also in the running for People's Choice Award in both those categories, which is where we need your help. This podcast gets the most, or the podcast that gets the most votes wins. So
that's called a contest.
I know. So if you like what we're doing here, please consider voting for You'll Hear It. Peter, this is a huge deal.
Yeah.
If
awesome. Can we vote multiple times?
No, you can only vote once, but we are in those 2 categories.
But you can open up a private browser, a separate company. I'm just saying, do whatever you want, but
we really appreciate your support. It's a big deal for us.
It would be awesome.
Of course, it's an honor just to be nominated. We're in the categories with like some big people.
I know. We need your help.
We do need your help because
we need your vote.
Yeah.
It's not like a pay to play situation, but it could be.
But if I know something about our You'll Hear It listeners, our dear listeners,
yes,
they are kind of ravenously loyal. So they will come through.
Especially the ones that make it this far. I'm looking at you, Branford Marsalis.
Till next time.
You'll hear it.